Jackie Reynolds, the formidable CEO of one of the nation's most influential financial firms, stood before the massive full-length mirror in her luxurious penthouse apartment. Dressed in nothing more than a simple blouse and a pair of casual jeans, she barely resembled the commanding powerhouse known throughout the corporate world. But that was intentional. Jackie had spent years tirelessly building her company from scratch, overcoming countless obstacles as a black woman in a male-dominated industry. She had shattered barriers, defied expectations, and made her mark in an unforgiving business world. Yet, despite all her success, she remained acutely aware of the systemic struggles that people who looked like her still faced, especially in the financial sector. She had read the reports, seen the statistics, and listened to the countless horror stories of discrimination in banking. But today, she didn't just want to hear about it. She wanted to see it, experience it. Her plan: simple. She would walk into one of her bank's local branches disguised as an everyday customer and attempt a routine withdrawal. No fanfare, no special treatment. Just her ID and a bank card. Would she be treated fairly like any other customer? Or would she encounter the very biases she had worked so hard to dismantle? Deep down, she already had a sinking feeling about the answer. "Are you absolutely sure about this?" Monica, her trusted assistant, asked with a hint of concern, watching as Jackie reached for her purse. "Positive," Jackie affirmed, her voice steady with determination. "If there's a problem, I need to witness it firsthand." Monica sighed, clearly uneasy. "Just be careful, okay? And if anything goes wrong, call me." Jackie gave her a reassuring nod before taking a deep breath and stepping out of her apartment. Normally, she'd have her private driver waiting at the curb. But today she needed to blend in, so she opted for a rideshare service instead. Every little detail of her disguise had to be convincing. As she settled into the back seat, her mind raced. Would she be received with the same warmth and efficiency as other customers? Or would she face resistance, suspicion, maybe even outright hostility? Her heartbeat quickened with anticipation. When the car finally pulled up to the bank, Jackie took another deep breath. This was it. She pulled the brim of her hoodie cap a little lower over her forehead before stepping through the towering glass doors of her own bank, an institution she had built with her own hands. The experience felt surreal. She had spent years in this world, but never from this perspective. Inside, the bank was sleek, polished, and modern. Marble floors gleamed under bright lighting, elegant furniture filled the lobby, and motivational posters promoting inclusivity and premium customer service adorned the walls. Jackie recognized them instantly. She had personally approved those campaigns. But actions speak louder than words. As she quietly joined the line, her sharp eyes took everything in. A tall man in an expensive business suit approached one of the tellers. Before he could even fully reach the counter, he was met with a bright, enthusiastic smile. "Good morning, sir. How can I assist you today?" The teller chirped with eager attentiveness. Jackie, however, she received no such greeting. She stood there unnoticed. No eye contact. No polite acknowledgement. Nothing. She waited patiently as the line inched forward, and when it was finally her turn, she stepped up to the counter, offering a polite nod to the young teller whose name tag read Laura. Laura barely looked up. "Yes," she said flatly, her tone bordering on impatient. Jackie cleared her throat. "I'd like to make a withdrawal, please." Only then did Laura glance up, just for a second. Her eyes flickered with something. Hesitation. Suspicion. "Do you have an account here?" she asked, her voice tinged with doubt. "Yes," Jackie responded calmly, reaching into her bag and handing over her ID and bank card. Laura snatched them without a word, turning to her screen and typing in the details. The seconds dragged on. Jackie watched as Laura's expression subtly shifted, her brow furrowing, lips pressing into a thin line. Finally, she looked up, her tone clipped. "I'll need further verification," she said. "Large withdrawals require special clearance." Jackie's eyebrows lifted slightly. The amount she was withdrawing wasn't remotely significant. Something felt off. All right, she said evenly. What kind of verification do you need? Laura exhaled sharply, avoiding eye contact. I'll need to get my manager. Jackie simply folded her arms. Here we go. She watched as Laura stiffly made her way to the manager's office, whispering something to a man in a navy blue suit. He cast a glance in Jackie's direction, his expression unreadable, then let out a sigh and pushed himself up from his chair. Jackie knew exactly who he was. Jason Miller, the branch manager. She had personally approved his hiring 2 years ago, impressed by his resume and leadership qualities. But standing on this side of the counter watching his mannerisms now, something about him felt different. Jason approached, flashing a tight-lipped smile. The kind that looked polite but wasn't. I'm Jason, the branch manager. He introduced himself smoothly. I understand you're requesting a withdrawal. Jackie met his gaze, her voice neutral. That's correct. Is there an issue? Jason barely glanced at the ID and bank card before sliding them back across the counter. He barely looked at them. For withdrawals of this size, we need to be extra cautious, he said, his tone patronizing. It's standard protocol. Jackie leaned in slightly. Standard protocol. Her voice remained calm, but there was an edge to it now. I've banked here for years. This amount is hardly excessive. Jason's forced smile tightened. Even so, we have to be thorough. We've had some fraud cases recently. Jackie nearly laughed. That was a bold-faced lie. Her bank had one of the lowest fraud rates in the state, thanks to the very security measures she had personally implemented. She kept her composure. So what's the next step? Jason sighed, as if he were doing her a favor. I'll need another form of identification. Maybe a utility bill. Or a second ID. Jackie's arms crossed. This wasn't policy. This was discrimination. Tell me, Mr. Miller, she said coolly. Would you have asked the gentleman before me for the same thing? Jason hesitated. The tension in the air thickened. I just want to make sure everything is in order, he deflected. Jackie studied him. Oh, so this is how far he was willing to take it. All right, she said smoothly. Let's play by your rules. She reached into her designer handbag, her every move deliberate. When she pulled out her passport, she slid it across the counter with quiet confidence. Jason hesitated. He had been expecting an excuse to deny her, not a valid ID. Laura, the teller, suddenly looked uncomfortable. The silence stretched a second too long before Jason cleared his throat. Well, I appreciate your cooperation, he said, forcing a smile. I'll just need to verify a few things. Jackie raised an eyebrow. I thought that's what you were already doing. Jason didn't answer. Instead, he turned and disappeared into his office.